These are 10 of Peter and the guys' greatest misadventures. Starting at the time the guys formed a string quartet, only to kick Peter out of the group in the finer strings. So the Griffin family attends the school talent show, which has all the talent of a newborn child.
1, 2, 3, and to the 4. Megan, Dr. Ruth is at the door.
Snoop Dogg must be rolling over in his grave. Oh, I'm being informed he's not dead yet. Chat, can we change that? I'd rather not rewrite the script. But it's not all bad, as Peter has opened up to the beautiful sounds of the violin.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
It's a violin, Peter.
Look, if the song isn't about surfing or being a bird, he probably hasn't heard it. So Peter decides to take up the instrument and manages to rope the guys into doing the same.
And there's 4 of us. We could be a string quartet.
Probably the only type of foursome you would want to be in with Quagmire. So the guys give it a crack, but Peter doesn't seem to be taking it seriously.
Peter, what note are you playing?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. Note?
Truthfully, I'm surprised he hasn't already dropped this and moved on to his next hyperfixation. Feels like he's about to be back in his Peter Copter era.
You guys, I got great news. Some skank I used to bang is getting married, and they need someone to play at the ceremony.
But even with their first big gig on the line, Peter still isn't putting in the work.
Look, it's clear that you still haven't practiced at all.
Yeah, this was your idea in the first place.
And I guarantee you he's already forgotten why he had the idea in the first place. His brain's so fried that I doubt he even remembers why he's at Quagmire's house to begin with.
Peter, you're out of the group.
What? Well, fine. Screw you guys.
This is just like when Ozzy Osbourne got kicked out of Black Sabbath. Don't think Peter will have the same solo success, but I could see him biting the head off a bat too.
Maybe you could find a teacher who could help you learn. And if you work at it and get a little better, they'll see you care about them.
But what kind of teacher has the skill, let alone the patience to help Peter get better?
Those scales sound terrible. You fat and lazy. You leave now.
No, please. I gotta get better so I can be as good as my friends.
Ah, our old friend Mr. Washy Washy, keeping old stereotypes alive one appearance at a time. Quagmire even witnesses Peter's training, if you can call it that. I'd say it's closer to Guantanamo Bay torture.
Is somebody making a Cuban sandwich?
So the guys decide to reverse their decision and let Peter back into the group.
What if I'm not good enough?
Well, that's the thing. We decided we'd rather be lousy with you than great without you.
Yeah, who cares if they ruin a wedding? It's not like anyone tries to remember those for the rest of their lives. But on the contrary, it's Peter who actually blows them out of the water with his skills. Wow, the government was right. Torture does work. Looks like Peter has a bright future ahead of him.
Mr. Washy Washy took all the joy out of this. I hate the violin. I hate music. I hate life.
Kurt Cobain felt the same way. But instead of doing what he did, Peter just decides to ruin the wedding. Hey, if you're gonna have an open bar, you should expect trouble. But that wouldn't be the guy's last foray into music, as the group took up DJing until Peter lost his hearing in Peter's Def Jam. So while the guys are having yet another meaningless conversation, they have the realization that every group of friends has at least once.
This could be a podcast.
It's actually not a bad idea.
Wouldn't exactly call it a good idea either. It'd just be like pouring a bottle of water into the ocean, you know? What are you really adding here? But they buy the equipment anyway and start making some magic.
Hey there, the net. Welcome to the first episode of Thanks for the Clamories.
Okay, not a half bad name. Unfortunately, the name is probably the only interesting thing the podcast has going for it.
That's the thing about Velcro shoes. Quiet going on, noisy coming off.
If that's not worth a $4.99 monthly Patreon subscription, I don't know what is.
Okay, common question that everybody thinks about. How many 4th graders you think you could take at once?
Now we're talking. Unfortunately, Quagmire has some hang-ups about a podcast that talks about beating up kids, so Peter tries to mellow it out with a bit of music.
You're playing 2 songs at once. What even is this?
I don't know. I'm just pressing buttons.
Which now makes you a certified licensed DJ. Peter's noisemaking even attracts the attention of a club owner who gives him a spot to perform his music.
We're in!
Great! I'll see you guys Wednesday at 2 a.m.
So DJ Peter and the Sound Slap hit the clubs with their sample-heavy songs.
Roadhouse. Roadhouse.
That's nasty. That's nasty.
What?
The people seem to enjoy it, but I can't imagine a worse hell than being in a noisy club at 2 a.m., coming down from a vodka Red Bull buzz and having to listen to Family Guy sound bites. Just take me out back, Old Yeller style at that point.
There's a big music festival coming up. You've got some mad DJ skills. You could be our headliner.
But unfortunately, the headliner position only has room for one guy who just presses 3 buttons.
How could you just ditch us?
All right, you know what? You guys were riding my coattails.
Kinda like how you're writing the coattails of songs you didn't make, but Peter won't have to hear him complaining anymore. Or hear anything, for that matter.
You've got to stop coming home so late if you can't get up in the morning, and
He's been blind, a stroke victim, wheelchair-bound, comatose, and now deaf. I do not want to know what his health insurance costs are at this point, but hopefully the guys are willing to help after Peter gave them one big middle finger.
Forget it. You told us to go to hell. Well, now you can go to hell.
Oh, great, thanks.
Well, maybe they should have actually used the finger to give Peter his answer. But after a little making up, the guys decide to lend Peter their ears for his DJ gig, which goes about as well as you'd expect.
Are you there, Vodka? It's me, Chelsea, as read by Chelsea Handler.
Peter, that's the wrong track.
But any track is the right track as long as you're jamming out with your pals. I mean, just look at how happy his dumb face is.
Yeah, awesome, huh? Wait, how come everyone's leaving?
It turns out you won't be hearing any audiobooks played at Coachella just yet. But at least the guys decided to stand by Peter in his hour of need. Now he can go back to working a real job. But when the guys don't think the Coast Guard is a real job, they're given a rude awakening when they have to stop a bomb threat in the episode Veteran Guy. So while Peter's trying on hats at the thrift store, he comes across one that immediately gets some attention.
Thank you for your service.
Huh?
My father's a veteran too. Thank you for protecting us.
Just like a toothpick, a hat truly changes everything. In Peter's defense, he does try to clear things up.
Oh, gosh, I'm not really
I don't have time to hear the rest of your sentence, but thank you for being a veteran because you're definitely a veteran.
Wow, so people just talk over and say thank you to veterans instead of actually listening to them. Honestly, didn't expect a goofy story about Peter's new hat to be so poignant.
Wow, feels real good to be a veteran.
So good, in fact, that Peter continues to wear it to get in on all the sweet deals that come with it.
Guys, you could be veterans too.
Peter, have you forgotten that Quagmire is an actual veteran? Sure, he might have been dishonorably discharged. I don't know that for sure, but just look at him. This is the kind of guy you want giggling around your barracks.
And it's not like I'd be lying.
There we go. Hey, another round for me and my veteran buddies.
Just maybe keep the sunglasses off inside. 4 Kenny Loggins songs playing at the same time is just too powerful, but their facade is almost immediately seen through by actor Eric Dane.
The Nathan James is the fictitious ship on TNT's The Last Ship, starring Adam Baldwin and Jocko Sims.
I knew that sounded too dumb to be a real ship name. This is why Google is free, guys.
You three are in violation of the Stolen Valor Act, which makes it a crime to pretend to be a veteran.
Oh, so suddenly it's illegal to break the law? What happened to this country? So since the guys wanted to be veterans so badly, the judge decides it's only fair for them to join the military.
Oh my God, we could be killed! Please, no!
All right, how about the Coast Guard?
Yeah, that's fine.
So what kind of hardening, life-changing, love for this country reaffirming training are they about to experience?
We're being shipped out to guard freaking spring break.
Sweet!
All right!
Spring break on the land, not the water.
America, the home of the free and the land of the drunk teenagers about to dabble with alcohol poisoning. Quagmire tries to bring some seriousness to the job, but the rest of the guys just want to goof off and play with Aquaman.
I told you, I'm not Aquaman. I am the Submariner.
Whoops, looks like a drunk spring breaker in a Speedo made it onto the boat. And since they keep messing around, Quagmire decides to call it quits.
I'm the only one taking the job seriously. Hell, you guys still don't even know how to operate a simple hydraulic grapple winch.
Seriously, guys? Who doesn't know how to use a hydraulic grapple winch? I'm sure this factoid won't come into play at all later. So Quagmire leaves and the guys decide to pee in a bush for some reason, but they overhear something concerning.
Are we ready to attack? We are! And many people will die!
Well, that doesn't sound like the usual Miller Lite-induced debauchery spring break is known for. The guys do their best to look for those culprits, but they have no idea what their target could be.
Final boarding call for the Are We Ready to Attack? We Are, and Many People Will Die booze cruise.
Buddy, can you shut up? They're busy hunting terrorists. But they decide to roll the dice on that one and actually find their guys.
U.S. Coast Guard, you kids it!
And they called me crazy when I said beaches should have metal detectors. Well, look where we are now. But the only thing that can stop more guys with bigger guns is one guy with a slightly bigger gun.
Freeze!
Quagmire, you came back!
Actually, I think he was just trying to get lucky with some chicks on the booze cruise. This was just a happy little coincidence.
Too bad about the bomb.
Bomb?
Yep, right here on the boat.
We talking Vegas bomb drinks? Irish car bomb drinks? Or actual bombs, the ones that make you go
Found it!
We're all gonna die!
Not if Peter and his trusty jet ski have anything to say about it.
Ha-ha! Oh, I forgot they do that.
But luckily, Quagmire comes in clutch with a hydraulic grapple winch. Well, it would have helped if he'd mentioned that earlier. Thankfully, Quagmire saves the day and sends the bomb off to explode in the distance.
Thanks for saving us, Quagmire.
I was just doing my duty. Just like you did.
Something tells me after all that excitement, Peter did a different kind of duty that you might want to start swimming away from, Quagmire. But when the guys are left with no memory of duty or even their names in the episode Forget-Me-Not, they soon begin to believe that Peter may have wiped out the entire human race. So Peter and Brian are trying to blow off family night so they can go play laser tag with the guys.
Come on, Brian, come upstairs. I want to show you a freckle on my sack that I'm concerned about.
Which is guy code for we're about to sneak out of here. Or your relationship is about to get really weird really fast. Let's just hope it's the first one.
Go me! Ah! Damn it!
And Peter decides to cement his laser tag win with a little trophy.
Well, for $5, you could get your picture in a fake newspaper with a humorous headline.
It'll probably be the only thing he gets to keep after the divorce.
You know, there's something seriously wrong with a man who always puts his friends over his family.
Come on, Lois, I think you're overreacting.
This is the only time in this video where Brian's considered one of the guys, so he's gotta come to Peter's defense. But Stewie wagers that Brian and Peter aren't really friends, just two guys who live in the same house.
Let's just go to the bar.
Sounds good. Heading to the bar with my friend, Peter.
But before they make it, it seems like the aliens would like a word.
Peter, look out for that car! That's not a car. What is that?
So after getting mysteriously flashbanged, everyone wakes up in a hospital with no memory of who they are or their lives.
Who are you?
I don't know. I just woke up here.
This isn't Peter's first rodeo with amnesia. Now, if only he could remember that rodeo, then things might start making a little more sense.
It's like our identities have been wiped out somehow.
Maybe we can find somebody to help us.
But to their surprise, nobody seems to be around. Either something bad's happened, or everyone decided to play the meanest prank on a couple of comatose patients.
What the hell happened? Where is everybody?
You don't suppose... You think we're the only people on Earth?
So they travel the empty streets, using Brian's nose to lead them to what they think is their home.
I poop a lot on this lawn. This must be where I live.
Well, the first part of that checks out, but in a moment of delicious irony, Brian and Quagmire believe they're best friends.
You're my owner!
I knew it! I knew we were pals!
So in another lifetime, they probably could have put their differences aside to get along. But then again, it only takes a few hours of being near Brian to make you hate his guts. While the relationship seems short-lived, as Brian's able to annoy Quagmire in record time.
Should I be the one writing about this?
I don't know.
I think it should be me.
And just do it. Stop talking about it, for God's sake.
Leave it to Brian to be a pretentious writer when he doesn't even know he's a pretentious writer. Now that everyone kinda knows more about themselves, they need to figure out what happened to everyone else. It's too bad the first piece of news they see implicates Peter as a murderer.
Oh my God. It's him!
Wow, good thing Peter destroyed the Earth, managed to print a newspaper with his picture and accomplishment on it, frame it in his house, and then spare these three guys for who knows why.
Maybe he needs us. Maybe we're important. I mean, I do have all these profound ideas and thoughts. Maybe I was a deep thinker of some kind.
You're giving court jester vibes more than deep thinker, Brian. So the guys decide to default to man's first move whenever they encounter something they don't understand. Murder.
We gotta find a way to kill him before he kills us.
So Joe and Quagmire send Brian to keep an eye on him while they grab some weapons. You know, for a guy who wiped out the entire human race, Peter actually seems like a pretty chill guy.
Bums are funny.
They are kinda funny. We all got one.
We all got one! I was just gonna say that!
Yeah, this is the kind of deep thinking I think Brian is most suited for. It turns out Brian and Peter get along pretty well, which makes Brian have some second thoughts when Joe and Quagmire come packing.
They think I'm an alien?
Yes, and you have to get out of here right away.
Brian can't explain it, but he feels compelled to help Peter. I think deep down, he knows he's choosing a dog lover over a cat lover.
I knew I couldn't trust you, you filthy mongrel!
And he meant that too. Said it with his whole chest and everything. But before they can kill Peter, Brian nobly jumps in front of the bullet. Except...
Ah! What the hell?
It was all a simulation by Stewie to see whether or not Peter actually considered Brian his friend.
It appears you two have a genuine bond after all.
You know, most people can tell who their friends are without dying in a simulation. But now Brian knows for sure that Peter considers him not just his friend, but his best friend. Which is reflected by a whopping 0 further appearances of Brian in this list. But the guys who try to strengthen their friendship and manhood on a ranch in First Blood only to find themselves at the receiving end of a bear attack. So the guys are all feeling the wear and tear that comes with aging.
What happened to me? I feel like I'm in a funk.
Are we talking funktronica or a little more new funk? There are surprisingly a lot of funk subgenres, so you're gonna need to be specific. Luckily, there's a mustachioed beacon of truth just standing off in the shadows for some reason.
You boys need to stop sitting in bars and cubicles and go recapture your frontier spirit.
He's right. Back in the day, we used to just hog-tie bulls for fun. Nowadays, you're lucky if you even come across a rope in your daily life.
I own a dude ranch on the outskirts of town. You fellas should spend a weekend there.
What the hell, sure. What's better than a couple of dudes duding it out on a dude ranch? It's actually a pretty long list. I'll DM you if you want the full thing. So they take the mayor up on his offer, but it seems a little different than what they were expecting.
It's a working ranch. You do your chores during the day and sleep in the barn at night.
Chores and sleeping in a barn? This is sounding like my childhood all over again. So the guys saddle up and hop into their first ever cattle drive, and Mayor West thinks it's time for them to earn their stripes.
To find your courage, you need to do the last leg of this journey on your own.
Well, hope you weren't too attached to those cattle. Expect some of them to be killed, lost, or eaten. All 3 will probably be done by Peter. But the guys hunker down for the night, though Cleveland is the last to fall asleep.
It's just me and you, Mr. Bear.
Bear! Come on, Cleveland, you used to work with a bear. You should be a certified bear whisperer by now. Luckily, the guys came equipped with some stuffed dummies to distract it.
Oh no! Oh no, help!
Make him stop.
This is the real me!
You're really embarrassing Tim now, Cleveland. Did you not learn any bear culture while you were in Virginia?
Wait a minute, where's my cowboy hat? I think the bear took it.
Who gives a
A reasonable response if I've ever heard one. But Peter sees the hat as his frontier responsibility. And really, you can't be a cowboy without a cowboy hat. Them's the rules.
The mayor wanted us to finish this cattle drive like real cowboys, and that's exactly what we're gonna do.
So they track down the bear, immediately regret it, then find the courage to rope themselves a grizzly.
Yeah! All right!
And I lassoed his neck so he can masturbate.
Oh, that Quagmire, ever the animal activist. But it turns out the bear was actually, dun dun dun, Mayor West.
Sorry to put you boys through the paces, but I felt like you needed a little nudge to find your courage.
Yeah, light mauling will do that. Not really sure how this whole experience is going to make them more exciting men, though. If this happened to me, I'd probably never leave the house again, knowing that there's a bear out there just waiting to steal my signature hat. But there's plenty more to be afraid of, which the guys find out when they travel to an abandoned asylum to write a horror movie in Peternorman Activity. So the guys are left disappointed after a horror movie sequel doesn't live up to expectations.
That was awful.
I know, they just redid all the same stuff from the first Maniac Pope.
Welcome to the world of being a horror movie fan. Whoa, Michael Myers is back to kill people for the 10th time? No way.
We could write a better horror movie than that.
Really? You think we could?
Yeah, you and every other YouTube movie critic. Take it from a clam who reviews stuff for a living, and I'm saying that as part of a team who does this stuff. Credits in the description as always. So they decide to give it a crack, but when inspiration fails to strike them, they assume they need to do their writing in a more inspiring place.
I got it. The old Quahog Asylum.
What? Well, we can't go there. That place has been abandoned for years.
You're either gonna write the horror movie of the century or be brutally murdered. Art is not without suffering. That's why I do all my writing from an electric chair. So the guys make their way inside the asylum and begin pitching their ideas, including Peter's teen horror.
Will you calm down? We're the only ones out here.
Cleveland's zombie movie.
Damn it, I guess it's a wiring issue.
That's it?
What the hell? When did the zombies show up?
And Peter's second idea about a killer bar of soap. Well, if we can have evil cars, mirrors, tires, and bongs, I guess we can have an evil bar of soap.
Ambassador Mombasa? Oh my god, Ambassador Mombasa!
But all this talk of scary stories has the guys spooked, so they try to leave but find themselves locked inside.
Oh, damn it! It's locked!
Oh my god, somebody must have locked us in!
Maybe it was your writer's block telling you to get back to work. But they decide to use the vents to escape, Outlast style, but this eventually puts them in the path of the horrible, the terrifying man door hand hook car door man.
Everybody run!
That's his name, right? I can't keep my urban legends and copy pasta straight. The guys make it outside, but the Hookman's still on their tail. Luckily, they have a thought that more groups in horror movies should have. Let's beat the crap out of this guy. Yeah, it turns out that was just the janitor. So not only are they all murderers, they're veteran murderers. That's gonna land you in super jail.
What have we done?
We killed an innocent man.
Yeah, but that's like an average Tuesday for these guys. So they decide to just bury the body in the woods, vowing to never speak of this again. There may not have been any ghosts in the asylum, but they're definitely going to be haunted by a little ghost called guilt now.
Guys, I'm kind of freaking out about killing that guy. Anybody else have a hard time sleeping?
Not Quagmire, who's either slipped completely into psychosis or is starting to deny ever being there last night.
Last night I was in St. Louis. I even have a picture.
No offense to him, but I've seen children with glue and scissors make a more convincing Photoshop than that. Fearing that Quagmire may rat him out, Peter decides to plant some evidence for a little bit of insurance. Unfortunately, everyone has the exact same thought.
Cleveland? What are you doing here?
What are you both doing here?
Joe?
What the hell?
Come on, fellas. Killing a guy is supposed to bring you all together, not drive you apart. Peter realizes this and has an epiphany on how this is actually a good thing.
Don't you see? This is a horror movie.
So they managed to turn the story into an actual movie, complete with big-name actors, Hollywood presentation, and everyone hating it because it's not a sequel or a part of an extended universe.
I just feel bad we killed an innocent man.
Well, don't feel too bad. Look at that.
So that guy was a thief and a racist? Man, don't you just love it when a murder turns out to be a good thing? But not every crime turns out as lucky, which the guys realize when they get sent to prison to escape the holidays in Shanksgiving. So Lois has invited her entire family over for Thanksgiving this year, and Peter is just thrilled. Hey, better he get those F-bombs out now rather than throwing them at family across the dinner table. And it sounds like the guys are having similar feelings to their own Thanksgivings, even making them envious of prisoners.
Yeah, sometimes I envy the guys in the town jail. They get a turkey dinner on Quahog and don't have the hassle of hosting their families.
I'm sure there are some cons you're neglecting to mention, like having to use the toilet in front of people. You really want to try that after a whole Thanksgiving dinner?
Hear me out. We'll commit a small crime and get put in jail for a couple days.
So what kind of minor crime are they going to try to get them put away for the holidays?
I forgot to steal the package.
I don't know if that's an actual crime, but you should probably be locked up just for the sake of the rest of the town. But it seems to work, getting arrested by... Is that a Simpsons character?
Police Superintendent Chalmers.
My brother is superintendent of the schools in Springfield.
Ah, so he's a Family Guy original. In that case, he might want to get himself checked out for that case of jaundice he seems to have. But the guys are successful in their mission, but unfortunately for them, jail isn't where they're headed.
You guys think you're the first ones to have this idea? The jail's already full of dads getting out of Thanksgiving.
So that means there's only one place left to go. The big house, the slammer, the cooler, the fourth euphemism.
The state penitentiary.
And with it being a holiday weekend, that means they've got 5 whole days in prison. Plenty of time to get shanked, join a gang, or become a toilet wine connoisseur.
Guys, I think we're in trouble here.
Come on, we're gonna be fine.
Uh-huh. And cut to them not being fine.
Ah, damn it, I lost a front tooth.
So to survive the rest of their stint, the guys are going to need protection in the form of a gang.
You guys showed up at the perfect time. Tomorrow's the start of prison rush week. Get in one and you're home free.
Everyone seems to find themselves a home except Peter. Being without a gang is like being at the homecoming dance by yourself. That's a good way to be stabbed.
I'm never gonna find a gang.
Hey, you look like you could use a friend.
And no, that bald-headed guy doesn't represent some kind of Howie Mandel tribute gang. It's exactly what you think it is.
As the new white guy in prison, you have to shiv the new black guy.
Ah, well that's no big deal. Peter's already got plenty of experience stabbing Cleveland. But if you want to get by in prison, you gotta shiv quick.
Ah! Sorry, Peter. My gang said I wasn't really loco unless I shivved someone.
Which is followed by Joe stabbing Quagmire and Cleveland stabbing Joe. All aboard the Shank train!
Look at us. We're shivving each other on Thanksgiving. Oh, wait, no one shivved Cleveland. Ah! But what are we doing?
Contributing to the spread of hepatitis in the prison yard, it looks like. But more importantly, Peter realizes how stupid this whole plan was to get out of the holidays when he should have spent it with his family.
My days of selfishness and red-wig twinks are over. I'm ready to come home with you.
And by the laws of television prison, once you learn your lesson, you're free to go. Next time, just fake food poisoning like a normal, well-adjusted person. But this isn't the only prison they've had to escape from, as Cool Hand Peter saw them fleeing a deep south jail while being chased by crooked cops. So the guys are feeling locked down in their lives and decide to do something about it.
Maybe the 4 of us should do something to reclaim our freedom, like go on a road trip, find some adventure.
Because we're men. We run from our problems, then get angry when that doesn't magically fix it. So they decide to hit up New Orleans, but accidentally make a wrong turn toward the deep south and run to the killer of all good times, the Popo.
And I can't help noticing you got a headlight out.
Really? I don't see any.
I hope they took out corrupt cop insurance on that rental car. You never think you'll need it until it's already too late.
Well, looky here. What do we got in this thing?
Little known fact, every officer gets assigned a little bag of grass when they join the force. You must respect the badge, the gun, and the little baggie of lawn clippings.
You guys are going away for a long time.
So the guys are sentenced to 2 weeks in county jail, overseen by a kind and friendly warden.
You will be worked harder than you have ever been worked in your miserable, pathetic lives.
Now that's the Southern hospitality we know and love. But this guy has no room for Peter's shenanigans.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Peter!
Peter, stop it!
I think you have a higher chance of survival standing next to Chernobyl than you do standing next to Peter. And the guys are put right to work, smashing rocks with sledgehammers. Gotta keep those crushed rock shareholders happy, I guess.
Hey, this ain't break time. Get back to work.
Technically, it's always break time when you're breaking rocks, right? Yeah, they wouldn't let me last a day if I were there. But after paying their dues and shattering their stones, the guys finally reach the end of their sentence. Or so they think.
Says here you got another 30 days on your sentence.
What? But the court said we're supposed to go home tomorrow.
You telling me the system that got you thrown in here by not respecting the law isn't respecting the law? Well, now I am shocked, stunned, and shocked.
We're not staying in here forever. We're getting out of here.
How?
We're breaking out.
But in order to escape, they're gonna need a distraction. Luckily, Joe has a great, albeit hard to watch, plan.
No one wants to watch a handicapped struggle for independence. This will buy us at least 15 minutes of averted gazes.
And if that doesn't distract them, the secondhand embarrassment may at least kill them.
Why the hell can't I walk? This isn't part of the act anymore!
Yeah, but at least it proves to be a good cover, allowing the guys to at least get a head start by a few seconds. The guys make it onto the back of a truck to escape the guards, but they aren't out of the woods yet. Well, figuratively. They did kinda escape the actual woods there.
Hey guys, look, there's a house.
Maybe there's something inside we can use to get these chains off.
And what a coincidence, there just happens to be the exact key they need to remove their cuffs.
You know, there's an awful lot of pictures of the sheriff in this house.
Yeah, everyone has pictures of their sheriff in their house. Are you saying you don't? Okay, weirdo.
Oh no, it's the sheriff!
Wait a minute, this must be his house. So the guys flee the trigger-happy sheriff and his reinforcements, but luckily the South is bountiful with trains with empty cars for them to jump onto.
That was a close one!
A little too close. The guys think they're home free, but they should have looked at the episode timeline and realized there's still 2 minutes left to go.
It's good to be back in familiar territory.
Where do y'all think you're going?
Did they really follow them all the way from Georgia to Rhode Island? I'd say I respect the commitment to justice, but this guy may have actual mental problems.
You're in my jurisdiction now, Sheriff Butt Breath.
Yeah, that's not the hard line you think it is, Joe. Wanna give it another go?
You took an oath just the same as me, Sheriff. To protect and serve, not to harass and douche.
Well, that's probably as good as it's gonna get. But the corrupt cops are driven back to where they came from, and the guys are happy to be home. It's too bad they never saw New Orleans or got to get their beads, though. But Quagmire is gonna get his, just not the ones they can really show on television.
We all know what's going on here. It's just implied, but we all know what's going on in this thought bubble.
But beads are the least of the guys' worries when they get entangled in a plane getting taken hostage in the episode Passenger Fatty 7. So the guys learn that Quagmire, with all his pilot privileges, has access to a friends and family discount.
Airline employees can get discounted tickets for family and close friends.
What? How come you never done that for us?
He's probably being a good friend and trying to keep you off the no-fly list, Peter. Keeping you away from a plane is like keeping a toddler from a hot oven.
I'm going to San Francisco next week. You guys want to come?
Boy, do they, as the guys live the fantasy of every 30-something woman looking to find herself on the West Coast after a breakup.
Wow, so that was San Francisco.
I didn't realize how hilly it was gonna be.
Dang, Joe, you're one fig tan and backwards hat away from being a classic San Francisco beach bro. Before they take off, Quagmire decides to show them how the plane works, including the autopilot.
Oh, that allows the plane to fly itself when I need a break.
Wait, what do you mean a break? You don't have to fly the plane?
So the guys misconstrue that as Quagmire having an easy and lazy job. Well, add flying a plane to the list of things overconfident douches think they could do if they had to, right alongside wrestle a grizzly and be John Wick.
I was a Navy pilot, you jerks! Get the hell out of my cockpit!
But once the plane finally takes off, the whole ride is thrown into chaos when men with guns try to hold the plane hostage.
This plane now belongs to us. You move, you're dead.
Sounds like a pretty good time to test out that be John Wick idea, right guys? The hijackers try to force their way into the cockpit by using any means necessary.
Open the door, or I'll start executing passengers!
Well, judging by that argument the guys had earlier, Quagmire could probably make some suggestions for who to off.
Last chance, open the door, or this idiot gets it!
Don't open it, Quagmire, it's not worth it!
Okay.
Yeah, didn't have to think too long about that one. Think twice before insulting your buddy's careers next time. You never know when he'll get the chance to sacrifice you to hijackers. Meanwhile, Joe and Cleveland sneak into the cargo bay and retrieve Joe's checked gun, but they're quickly caught.
Prepare to die! You first!
That's what you think.
And there goes Peter. First Quagmire and now Joe? If you survive this, you gotta start getting on people's good sides, Peter. Peter and the gunman duke it out on the plane's wheel, but it's Cleveland who makes the save with a well-aimed suitcase throw.
Die in hell, Euro trash!
I guess being a plane hijacker earns you a little bit of xenophobia as a treat. But now the guys are armed and ready to give it to the gunman.
Oh, rats. My bullets are in my shaving kit.
If only you'd grabbed your razor that doubles as a gun. He's lost a lot of chunks of his cheeks with that thing. But an awfully hot coffee pot makes the save. Not that they're out of the woods yet.
Thanks for keeping us in the sky, boys. Now reach for it.
You know, the blue shirt, blue tie combo should have clued them in. Only a psycho would wear a blue fit like that. The hijacker is going to force Quagmire to crash the plane into Las Vegas, so Glenn plans a little rolling, and I don't mean with dice.
You ever been to Vegas before?
No.
Well, I think you're gonna flip for it!
Old Peppy Hare must have been speaking to Quagmire like a Force ghost, because that was a solid barrel roll. But they still aren't out of the woods yet, because the military still thinks the plane is being hijacked and they're ready to shoot it down.
They must think the hijackers still control the plane! And our communications are jammed, so we can't even tell them everything's okay!
And the prom is tomorrow. Quagmire does his best to outmaneuver the missiles, but ends up getting hit with a stray.
We've been hit!
Good to know your eyes work, Joe. But thankfully, Quagmire manages to land in a lake, keeping the casualties to a minimum, unless you're a fish.
Thanks for saving all of our lives. We're sorry for saying your job was easy.
That's all well and good, but give me a few days on Google Earth's flight simulator, and I could probably do that too. But the guys would set out to do what no one had done before. Find the source of the world's dirty jokes in the globe-trotting crossover episode, The Splendid Source. So Quagmire tells the guys a joke that is so funny that it literally makes Peter poop himself.
P.S. Your vagina's in the sink.
Oh God, I pooped my pants.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to laugh or be overly concerned about Peter's reaction, but that doesn't stop Joe and Quagmire from weaponizing the joke to ruin every pair of pants Peter owns.
Who's texting me? Damn it!
You gotta ease up on the fiber, my guy. But it sure would be a shame if someone else's pants got pooped in.
Hey, those are my pants.
That's right. Thought I'd come by and see if you have any jokes to tell.
Everybody's gangster until it's your pants about to be pooped in. So they call a truce, but now Peter wants to know where Quagmire heard that joke.
Bruce told it to me.
No way Bruce came up with that.
You mean Bruce, the heart and soul of the show? Put some respect on his name, Peter. But when they go to question Bruce, they learn the joke's origins go way back.
Bruce had heard it from Consuela. Consuela heard it from Mayor West. West heard it from Dr. Hartman.
The trail takes them all the way to a bartender in Virginia. Something about the place seems familiar, but not familiar enough to warrant getting a 5th season.
I remember that. I heard it from that guy.
Cleveland?
Who's just drinking alone in a crummy bar. He must have felt like his show was already going downhill.
Who told you the joke?
A bellhop at the Royale Hotel in Washington, D.C.
You guys know phones exist, right? You can just call these places without having to travel across the country. This is very much a could have been an email episode. But they travel to DC anyway to find the bellhop, who apparently doesn't want to reveal his sources.
Where'd you hear that dirty joke you told Cleveland?
That's none of your business. Leave me alone.
A simple I don't know or I forgot probably would have been cool too. With the bellhop gone and the trail gone cold, the guys are ready to pack it in, but some men in suits have other plans.
But little did we know, our journey was far from over.
I'm sure Cleveland is so glad he joined them. It's been a while since Peter's gotten him pistol whipped. When the guys awaken, they find themselves halfway across the world and right at the doorstep of what they were looking for all along.
I am the Dean.
The Dean of what?
The Dean of the Secret Order of Dirty Joke Writers.
So the source of all dirty jokes is a bunch of stuffy, pipe-smoking writers? Not sure why I imagined it would be some snot-nosed punk kid who's just eternally 15.
Many of the world's greatest geniuses secretly devote themselves to coming up with the world's dirtiest jokes.
The guys get a little peek at the secret society, but it's one of those that's so secret that they can't be allowed to leave.
We can't allow the secret to be revealed. I'm afraid you must stay here for the rest of your lives.
Oh no, I've got to drink brandy and write dirty jokes for the rest of my life? I'd rather be dead. But the guys end up getting themselves thrown in jail, so they're gonna need an escape plan.
One of us should pretend we're hurt, and when the guards come in to give him medical attention, we'll jump him.
But I think Peter just heard the word hurt and immediately went into psycho mode.
Ah! What the hell? Hey! Help! Help! We have an emergency! You...
Welcome back to Primetime, Cleveland. We draw blood in this time block. They manage to escape but are held at gunpoint by their captors. Luckily, Peter decides to hold the alleged dirtiest joke of all time hostage.
Take one step closer and the paper gets it.
Drop your guns! Do as he says!
Peter has his way out, but not before chucking the candle like a freaking Molotov, burning the entire place to the ground. Hey, that's on them for not moving their operation to digital.
Look what we did. We destroyed a place that brought joy and laughter to the entire world.
What do you mean? The Sweaty Clam YouTube channel is still standing. Alright, enough self-promotion. Let's hear that greatest joke of all time that Peter grabbed.
Guess what? Chicken butt.
Oh yeah, that was worth lead poisoning Cleveland over.
Now take me back to Virginia so I can put some bacitracin on this and pork my wife.
Somehow, this didn't end up being the end of Cleveland tagging along on these adventures, but we wouldn't have it any other way. He might, but who cares what he thinks? But we care what you think. If you liked what you saw here, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the Sweaty Clam channel to catch more great Family Guy videos like this one.